teacher friend of mine just had her third baby this year, and she sent me a message asking if I had any tips or tricks or hacks for leaving the classroom. And I immediately knew what she meant because I remember that feeling so vividly. When I had my third child, that's when things really started to get difficult for me.
Hey, teacher friend. Welcome to Online Business for Teachers, the podcast for educators who are tired of being tired and wondering if there's more out there. Are you up late Googling online jobs for teachers or how to make extra money from home? Do you dream about starting a business, working from home, or finally getting paid for the resources you've already created without adding more stress to your plate? I'm Monica Lopez, a former teacher who was burnt out, overwhelmed, and secretly searching for a way out. I wanted more time with my kids, the freedom to work from home, and a way to make money doing something I actually enjoyed. That's when I discovered the simplest path, creating and selling my own teacher resources, using the skills I already had. Now, I help teachers like you turn your ideas into income with step-by-step guidance, real talk about finding time to grow your business, and the mindset shifts that help you believe it's actually possible. So close those lesson plans and grab your favorite drink. It is your turn now.
I loved teaching. I love teaching still. But when you have littles at home, especially babies, it becomes so much harder to balance the job that you love with the family that you also want to spend time with and raise. And this isn't the first time that I've seen this happen. I also have another friend who had her third baby this year, and they are leaving the classroom too because it just has gotten so demanding to do both things. So I know this question is sitting in the minds of a lot of teachers, especially teacher moms, but you don't have to be a teacher mom if you are wanting to leave the classroom, right? You honestly feel torn between the job that you love and the family that you want to be present for. So the question is, how do you actually leave? And I'm not talking about like emotionally, right? I'm talking about financially, because leaving a salary is not a small thing. Even when you think you're prepared, you may not be prepared. So today, I want to talk about some of the things that I learned the hard way when I left the classroom and started working from home running my business. I recorded another episode about business finances. So if you want more details about that, go back and listen to that episode. It's episode 48. But today, I want to focus on preparing financially for leaving the classroom. Of course, episode 48 is going to give you all of the logistics of or how to manage all of your business finances. So it's very, very helpful. Go back and listen to that episode if you have not heard it yet, because I thought I was ready. My business had been growing pretty quickly. I saw the numbers going up and I assumed that growth was just going to continue, right? It was like a math problem. If this pattern continues, next year I would be making XYZ, right? But that's not how business works. Some months are really great and some months are really slow. And when you leave a full-time salary behind, those slow months feel super hard. For a long time, I was a primary breadwinner in my household. When I left my job, I was giving up an entire teaching salary. That is a big chunk of income. And as much as we say that teachers don't get paid a lot of money, it's still a big chunk of income that you're letting go of, right? So although my business was making money, it wasn't making enough yet to support the lifestyle that we were used to. So there were definitely stressful financial moments while I figured things out, because when you leave the classroom, you're not just learning how to run a business. You're learning how to manage business finances. You're learning how to manage your time at home, and you're learning how to manage your work from home. And that's not even it. You're learning how to manage your whole mind at home. That mind that had been trained to go, go, go is now at home, and all of a sudden you have freedom to choose what to do at home. But that's a whole nother episode. All right. Either way, it's a lot all at once. So I want to tell you a few things that I would tell any teacher who is thinking about leaving the classroom to work from home. The first thing is to just become aware of where your money is going. Don't even worry about cutting expenses yet. Just figure out where your money is actually going. Look at your bank statements. Use a spreadsheet. Write everything down, because a lot of times we don't even know how much we are spending until we see it. Once I did that, I realized there were some things that needed to change. For example, I had a property that I originally planned to build a house on someday, but at that moment, it was becoming more of an expense than an asset for us. So we decided to sell it. There were also other smaller changes, like going out to eat less often or being more intentional about subscriptions and extra spending. Nothing extreme, but definitely more awareness. And it's also a matter of, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to build this dream of yours? So me giving up that piece of land, it was a huge sacrifice for me and for my family, because we all believe in this business that I am building. And it's just really like honest conversations between you and your family as to which things you are willing to sacrifice for what you want. All right. Okay. Another thing that really helped me was separating our money into different accounts. I'm talking about my personal accounts, not my business, because my business account is already separate. And of course, again, go back to episode 48 to listen to how all of that is structured. But this episode is for personal bank accounts. Okay. So I separated my personal bank accounts into two different accounts. I created an account for absolute needs. That account is for like utilities and groceries and gas and other bills that we have to pay in order to survive. And then I created another account for nice to have things. Things like eating out, Netflix, Apple Music, or anything else that is not absolutely necessary to survive. When the nice to have money is gone, it's gone. And that really helps prevent overspending, because the money for bills is always protected. I also have another card where I transfer money each month for my own personal spending. Dave Ramsey would call it blow money, right? My husband also has the same thing. He prefers cash, but it's the same idea, right? Having those separate accounts has made it much easier for us to manage our finances without constantly wondering if we are overspending. Another big lesson I learned is that businesses have slow months. There is no business that makes the same amount of money every single month. And that's a really big change from going from a month-to-month teacher salary to a business where your revenue varies so much month by month, okay? No business makes the same amount of money every single month. So what I started doing was looking at the lowest months in my business. For me, the summer is usually slower because teachers are not purchasing as many resources. So I looked at my lowest months and figured out the average of the 3 lowest months of the year. And that number became my baseline. That's the amount I assume I will make. That is my owner's pay per se. Okay. If my business makes more than that during the better months, which it will, then that extra money can go into savings, retirement, or back into the business. Okay. But my lifestyle is based on the lower number. That way I don't go over that. It's okay to make more money than that, but it's not okay to spend more money than that. Because when those slow months come around again, I'm not going to be panicking or pulling money out of savings to cover expenses. That was something I had to learn the hard way. And I think that's important for teachers to understand before they leave the classroom. Business income is not the same as a salary. It goes up and down throughout the year. Another thing I would say is give yourself time. And if you don't already have a business or another income stream, you're probably not going to build something sustainable in one summer. I hate to break it to you, but one summer is not enough to build the business that you are going to depend on as a full-time salary. Your products need time to gain visibility. Your audience needs time to grow. Your systems need time to develop. Ideally, you want at least 1 to 3 years of data from your business so you can see your patterns. You want to know, when are your slow months? When are your strong months? How much does your business actually make on average? That information will help you make a decision based on reality instead of hope. And I say that with a lot of love because I made a lot of decisions based on hope at the beginning. And that was a huge mistake, that it was just me being naive and just, I don't want that to happen to you. I do believe teachers can build businesses that support their families. I've done it, but it takes time to build something stable. And when you're planning to leave the classroom, the goal is not just to leave. The goal is to leave in a way that doesn't create unnecessary financial stress for your family. So start building your income and start becoming aware of your expenses. Start learning how to manage both your business finances and your personal finances, because when those systems are in place, leaving the classroom becomes a lot more realistic. Okay, I know this was a lot of information. You might have to go back and re-listen to this episode multiple times, as well as episode 48 if you already have an established business and you are trying to organize all of your finances to leave the classroom. All right, guys, if this episode helped you in any way, feel free to share it with another teacher who might be thinking about leaving the classroom too. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.
Hey, teacher friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this show is helping you dream a little bigger, would you take 30 seconds to leave a quick review? It means the world to me, and it helps more teachers find their way to this podcast. I'll meet you back here next week. Take care and keep dreaming bigger.